So, how many of these habits can you tick off? Hey guys, it's Jess and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having a very happy and productive week. And today's video is all about the 10 habits of highly successful students. Now, I wanted to make this video because I feel like a lot of people have this idea about being a successful student that is quite warped, and it has this negative impact on a lot of people's self-esteem and the way that they view their studies. So being a successful student to me is not purely about the grades, although a lot of the things I will cover in today's video will actually enable you to get better grades in the end. But I do think that there's so much more to discuss than just getting good grades, because that's not really what defines a successful student. So I hope you find today's video helpful, and if you do, thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications though, so you do get notified, because at the moment, I'm on a good streak. I'm posting twice a week, so I don't want you guys to miss out on either one of those videos. Okay, let's get straight into today's video, and it's time to cover the 10 habits that I believe make for a successful student. Now, the first habit is one that I'm proud to say I lived up to when I was a student, so I feel like I'm practicing what I preach. It's all about being organized. So a successful student is someone that is organized, not that they have every kind of school supply imaginable and their highlighters are color-coded and perfectly organized. It's more about being punctual to class, having done your weekly readings ahead of time, making sure that you complete your homework on time, and you're scheduling everything into your diary so you actually have this organized study schedule or study routine going on. This habit is really important in order for you to feel like you're staying up to date with your work and managing an increasing workload. Now, unfortunately, I feel like there are a lot of students out there that feel a little bit too shy or embarrassed to demonstrate the next habit, but it's to ask questions and participate in class. It's really important to be an active member of your class, to participate, to share your ideas, to also listen to what other people have to say. And if ever you have something pop up in your mind that doesn't make sense and you want to ask a question, that you do feel confident to raise your hand and you just let the teacher know that something doesn't make sense to you, because often a lot of other students in the class are requiring the same clarification. So a good student not only listens to everything the teacher says, but is also actively participating on a day-to-day basis in class. This third habit says a lot about your character, in my opinion, which is to help your peers. So I know that when there's a lot of work and we're feeling really stressed or overwhelmed by all of the pressure to get really good grades or improving our grades, that sometimes we have quite an isolating mentality where we're purely focused on what's going on for us and we don't really stop to help someone next to us that might be struggling. And it's almost like we just don't have time for anyone else in life because we're so consumed by our own problems. And I think it's really important that we do stop and notice how our friends are going in class, how the person sitting next to us is feeling at the time, and if we can help, that we absolutely do. Now, I'm not saying you should let someone copy your homework, but perhaps invite someone to join in on a study session or spend a bit of time with them going over some classwork if you realize that they're struggling and you know the material really well. Also, I am a big believer in karma, and I feel like what you put out there comes back to you. So if you help others, they're definitely going to be much more inclined to help you one day, and if they can, they will return the favor. This next habit has a lot to do with how you actually approach your studies. So it's to study smart. A successful student has a well-orchestrated study schedule going on. They have made it part of their daily routine and they regularly sit down at their desk to do their homework. They make weekly summaries, they're reviewing their notes, but they're also taking into consideration the best way to review information as well. So not just reading things over and over again or writing it down hundreds of times in order to get it hopefully squished into your long-term memory, but trying to vary up their study sessions and using a variety of study techniques from visual, auditory, physical, and reading and writing. So in order to be a successful student, you have to take responsibility for the way that you approach your studies outside of the classroom as well. And relating to that habit, the fifth habit of a highly successful student is that they know their limits. They take regular breaks and they don't sit down at their desk for hours and hours on end trying to cram information in, because they know that they have to be kind to their bodies. They know how they work best, and they're aware that their focus is not going to be at its all-time high if they don't allow themselves a little bit of time away from their desk. So it's really important to factor this into your study schedules as well, and not to think that being a successful student is just about constantly studying. Sometimes, in order to study effectively, you actually need some time not studying. The sixth habit is one that I will admit I didn't exactly demonstrate when I was younger in school, but I definitely changed my mindset and applied it as I got into university. And it's very clear that highly successful students don't see their studies as purely being mandatory. They're actually there because they know they can get something out of it and they're wanting to learn and expand their knowledge. So they don't feel like someone is forcing them to go to class. They willingly go to class and they enroll in subjects that genuinely interest them because they know that it's going to pay off in the long run. They're going to be acquiring skills and knowledge that they need in order to create a life that they love. Now, speaking of a life that you love, highly successful students also have a life outside of the classroom. They have hobbies, they have a social life, they spend time with their family and friends, they do things for themselves, and they don't purely immerse themselves in their studies all of the time 24/7. It's really important to them that they have this balance in their life and they're not willing to sacrifice their personal life in order to get certain grades. The next habit of a highly successful student is that they don't take their grades personally. Meaning, if they don't get a grade that they're super pleased with, they don't see that as a reflection of their own abilities. They're not embarrassed and they don't see themselves as any less smart or less equal to their peers because they actually use these grades to motivate them and build on their self-determination to succeed. They don't just have a little pity party and wallow in the fact that they didn't get the grade that they wanted. They know that it's purely part of their academic journey and they can improve and they can do better. And so they use that to fuel that drive. And so they set themselves these little goals throughout the year, whether it's to get from a B to an A or a D to a C. And that is exactly what fuels their determination, and they're strong-willed and they know that they can achieve those goals. So they don't let it affect their level of confidence or self-esteem or self-worth. Habit number 9 is something I feel like a lot of students don't prioritize, and usually it's the first thing to go when the workload increases and studies become quite overwhelming, but highly successful students always prioritize their health. They know how important it is to get a good night's sleep. They know the importance of fueling their body with the right foods, and they're not just reaching for food out of convenience or skipping meals because they don't have time, or skipping breakfast, for example. They know that they have to look after their mind and body, and so they don't sacrifice their well-being for their grades. And habit number 10 of a highly successful student is that they are goal-driven. They know that there is something that they want to achieve. They have this bigger picture in mind, and it's not just about one class test or your final exams. They know that they're going somewhere else, and that is exactly what they have in the forefront of their mind every time that they sit down and do their work, or every time that they begin to lack motivation and question why they're working so hard. They remind themselves of their big picture goals, and this could be as specific as their career goals or what kind of university they want to get into, what they want to study. But they know that there is a reason they are working so hard, and they make sure to set themselves these goals in order to motivate them and not lose sight of the bigger picture. So, how many of these habits can you tick off? I honestly can't say that I did all of these things all of the time when I was a student. I honestly think that life is all about self-improvement and learning and going through different challenges. So don't worry if you don't tick all 10 boxes. It's just a good opportunity to reevaluate your approach to your studies and see whether there's anything that you can tweak or change in order to really get the most out of it, to stress less, to look after yourself more, and to enjoy studying. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want to share your comments or thoughts down below, please do. And otherwise, I'll see you guys in a couple of days with another video. But until then, make sure to check out my vlog channel Life with Jess, because I am posting quite regularly and there's some more fun videos and extra motivation and inspo in there. So yeah, I'll speak to you very soon. Mwah! Bye guys.